Mrs. Lilly is silly, Chapter 2. Mrs. Lilly has to go. It was a lady who came running into our classroom. She was wearing an old-time man's hat and trench coat. I guess a trench coat is a coat that you wear in a trench. There was a camera around her neck and a notepad in her hand, and she was all out of breath. "Is it career day over?" she asked. "Mrs. Lilly," said Mr. Granite. I recognize Mrs. Lilly. She's the reporter for our local paper, the News Tribune Bulletin Inquirer. She wrote an article about our school when a squirrel ate through the power lines and all the lights went out. They put my picture in the paper and everything. My mom put it on the refrigerator. "Sorry I'm late," Mrs. Lilly said. "I had to write a big story about a tree." "Why did you write a story about a tree?" asked Andrea. "Yeah, why did you write about a tree?" asked Emily, who always does whatever Andrea does. "It fell down," said Mrs. Lilly. "So what?" asked Ryan. "Don't trees fall down all the time?" "Well, this tree landed on a house." "Was anybody hurt?" asked Emily, all worried. "No." "Then why was it a big story?" asked Mr. Granite. "The tree fell on Mayor Hubbell's house," Mrs. Lilly told us. "Oh, and that's a big story?" asked Alexa. "Well, it landed on the mayor's bathroom," Mrs. Lilly said, "and the mayor was in the bathroom at the time. You see, a tree falling down is boring, and a tree falling on the mayor's house is still pretty boring, but a tree falling down on the mayor's bathroom while he's on the toilet is a great human interest story. That's what I look for, human interest stories." "What happened to Mayor Hubbell?" asked Emily, all concerned. "He had to go," said Miss Lilly. "Of course he had to go," I said. "That's why he was in the bathroom." "No," said Mrs. Lilly. "I mean, after he went, he had to go." "How can you go right after you went?" asked Neil the nude kid. We went back and forth like that for a while until Mr. Granite interrupted. "I'm terribly sorry," he said. "This is all very interesting, but we have to do our math lesson now." "Oh, I hate math." "Well, that's too bad," said Mrs. Lilly. "I wanted to show the kids how we make the newspaper." "Oh, that would be neat," said Andrea. "Don't you want to learn how they make the newspaper?" "Yes," all the girls said, except for Alexa. "No," said all the boys and Alexa. "Maybe you can come back another time to show the class how to make a newspaper," suggested Mr. Granite. "I have a better idea," said Mrs. Lilly. "When I come back, the kids and I can make a real newspaper together." "That's a wonderful idea," said Mr. Granite. "Would you kids like to make a real newspaper with Mrs. Lilly?" "Yes," yelled all the girls, except for Alexa. "No," yelled all the boys and Alexa. "I can see the headline now," said Mrs. Lilly. "Kids make newspaper. I love it, but for now I've got to go." "Do you have to go, or do you have to go?" I asked. "I have to go," she replied. "It's an emergency." I still don't know if Mrs. Lilly had to go or if she had to go. In any case, she went running out of the room. Mrs. Lilly is silly.